So let's try to see the PPT first, and then we try to go to the practical application of this. So Spacey is known as a strength in the industrial strength Python NLP library that's geared towards performance. Okay, so now this is where the actual average starts. Okay, now till the text block and the NLTK what you have learned is a hard coded library. Okay, hard coded in the sense so everything is hard coded, means everything is written by someone. So based on that, you try to search everything and try to give the answer. But from this particular library, everything is model based. So all the output that you get is a prediction of some model. Okay, so it's marketed as the industrial strength Python NLP library that's geared toward the performance. Now the main function of Spacey is not to load with you the functions. Okay, the main purpose of a Spacey is to give you the minimum functions, and then functions should be the accurate or the best one. So this is you can see the slogan of NLP. So the slogan of NLP you can say is Spacey is minimal and opinionated. It doesn't flood you with the opinion like NLTK does. Okay, so what I mean to say is if you see in text block, you can see many errors in the function, but they don't focus on the errors. Their main focus was just to give you more and more functions that you can do. For example, translate and detect languages, this classifier like thing. Okay, so their main aim was to give more and more functions. But the main aim for Spacey is not to give you the function, but to give you the limited one, but the best one. So its philosophy is to only present one algorithm and the best one for each purpose. Okay, so you don't have to make choices and you can focus on being productive. Okay, this is the main focus of Spacey here. Now, Spacey is built on Cython. So can anyone tell me what do you mean by Cython here?
Python.
Okay, so Cython is a combination of C++ and Python. So this is a language called as Cython. Okay, so it is built on that. So Cython means C++ plus Python, or a C language and plus Python. That's called as Cython. It is also lightning fast. Because of this, it is lightning fast. Okay, so can anyone tell me that why Cython is fast? So this can be coded in Python also, right? Then why Cython? A wild guess, a wild guess. The answer is there only in the particular line. My question is clear to everyone. First of all,
Because it is fast.
Yeah, it is fast. The question is how. Okay, so this is a basic concept of compiler and everything. So basically, what C does is C. So I'm just taking 5 minutes to explain you what happens. Okay, so C talks to the kernel directly. Okay, talks to the kernel or to the computer directly. Where Python is a wrapper around some other language. Okay, so Python will first convert it to some particular language and then it will talk to kernel. Okay, so this is the extra step involved in Python, whereas in C it is actually talking to kernel. So this is why the coding in C is very fast as compared to Python. Okay, so the coding in C is very fast compared to Python. So that's why we have something called Cython. So basically, Cython is a C language, but having a syntax of Python. So this is a new language that they have generated that is called as Cython, and the Cython library will talk directly to kernel. So that's why it is lightning fast. Okay, so this is the logic behind that. A small glimpse. Fox have called Spacey a state of art model. So can anyone tell me what do you mean by state of art model here?
It is a unique model.
Not the unique model, not the unique model. So if I'm saying that, okay, the model that you have built is a state of art model. Okay, so that particular statement means the model that you have generated is best till now. The model that you have created is best till now in the market or in this world. That is known as state of the art model, that there is no model better than your model. So basically your model is a state of art model. Is clear? The definition here of state of art. So whenever we learn something or whenever we see something that this model is a state of art model, then that simply means that that model is the best model till now in the market, and no one has created a better model than that. So basically, that model is the state of art model. Okay, so that you mean by state of art model. So basically, Spacey is the state of art library. You can say the model that they are using is a state of art library. Okay, now Spacey supports 18 languages. To check the languages, you can visit this website. So if I if I select this website and if I copy this and paste in a chat box so that everyone can access this. So I've given the link. Everyone just try to open the link. So basically, they have maintained the proper documentation. Okay, now Spacey 3.0 is also out now. So try to explore that what is 3.0. Okay, then what we'll do is now there are a number of languages that is supported. Okay, so the first thing is quick start. Okay, suppose you forgot that how to download each and everything, so you can start from here. So select the language in which your use case is. Okay, suppose your use case you're trying to solve is in English, so keep it English by default. But if it's in some other languages, just try to download the language of your choice. Just select the language of your choice. Okay, so anything can be there of your choice. So for example, I want to go for English only. Then how you want to load? How you want to load this particular model? So it's up to you whether you want to use spacey.load or you want to use import as a module. It's up to you. Okay, so if you notice down, this code is changing based on what you are selecting. Okay, suppose if I select uh, French here, so Python minus m spacey download is changing to fr now. It's changing to fr. Okay, if I do English, it is changing to en. Okay, so this is what it means. And when you do space.load, the loading function of the Python also changes. So when you use this, you want to use this function, go with this. If you want to use this function, go with this. Just copy the thing and paste in the Jupyter notebook and everything will be downloaded. Now selection for. So can anyone tell me what do you mean by efficiency and what do you mean by accuracy? In ML model, there's a trade-off between efficiency and accuracy. Can you tell me what is the difference between efficiency and accuracy, a basic trade-off?
Accuracy is like how many correct predictions.
Okay,
Efficiency maybe how good is the prediction.
How it is negative is predicted as negative and positive is predicted as positive.
So that is what accuracy or efficiency?
That is accuracy. Efficiency.
Okay, what is efficiency?
Time required or memory requirement.
Okay, so there is a trade-off between efficiency and accuracy. Efficiency means that how fast you're getting the output, how fast you're getting the prediction. That is what you mean by efficiency. And accuracy means how good you are getting the prediction. So there's a difference how fast and how good. So how fast means efficiency, how good means accuracy. Okay. Now there's a trade-off in the sense that you can't achieve these two together. Okay. So if you want to increase the efficiency, your accuracy will decrease. If you want to increase the accuracy, your efficiency will decrease. Okay, decrease. So this is a basic trade-off that follows. Okay, this happens for all the algorithms that you will learn. So either of both these two you can achieve very good. Both is not possible. So this is nothing but a bias versus variance trade-off that you can see. So I hope everyone knows what is bias versus variance trade-off. So this is a trade-off of efficiency versus accuracy. Okay. If you want to try to increase the accuracy, the efficiency decreases. If you try to increase the efficiency, the accuracy decreases. So now it's clear to everyone what do you mean by efficiency and accuracy?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is one way of accuracy. Now it's up to you, okay, whether the output should be fast or the output should be accurate. It's up to you which model you want to use. So if you go for efficiency, this will be get downloaded. If you go for accuracy, this will you have to import this. So it's based on you what you want to download. Okay, it's totally based on you, based on your use case and stuff like this. Okay, then we have lots of things. So how to train your own model. Suppose, so basically to train your own model, you have to visit this. So basically you have to select which language, what you want to train. You want to train on GPU or CPU, and you want the efficiency or the accuracy. Based on that, you will get the particular code. Okay, so this I will not teach you. This is the advanced version of that. For that, you should be good in NLP first. So yes. Okay, so this is what the first PPT means. Okay, now this is the comparison between Spacey and NLTK. So easy installation for both, yes. Python API for both, yes. Multi-language support for both, yes. So this was the old table. So initially the language were not supported much, but here the language is supported, as you can see in the model also. There are 18 language supported. So this becomes why. Tokenization, yes. Part of speech tagging, yes. Sentiment, yes. Dependency parsing. Now here we have something called as dependency parsing. Dependency parsing nothing but suppose I am playing a football. So how playing is related to football, how I am related to football. So all the relation it tries to give with the help of dependency parsing. This was present in SPACY, but this is not present in NLTK. Entity recognition, both yes. Integrated word vectors. Okay, this is present in SPACY, but this is not present in NLTK. Then sentiment analysis, both yes. Co-reference resolution is nothing but it is related to integrated word vectors only. So basically, it tries to give the difference between the two words, that how two words are close to each other. So for SPACY, they have included yes. For LTK, there is no. Okay, so this I will update. Sorry for that. So I have not updated this. This was the old PPT. So yes, and I have covered one point called as that it's also a lightning fast. Okay, so let's try to see the comparison between NLTK and SPACY. So this is a comparison between NLTK and SPACY. Okay, so you can see the difference. The only problem is if you do a sentence tokenization, then NLTK is faster because NLTK go with the hard-coded method, where SPACY will try to understand the language and based on that language, it try to split. The only difference is here. So basically, that's why SPACY takes more time here. Otherwise, part of speech tagging and stuff like that, then the SPACY is very fast. Okay. So we have something called as list of models in. Okay, before that, the 3 slides are clear to everyone. If they want to ask something, they can ask, because from here the main everything is starting now. So if you have any doubts, please ask so that nothing stays in your mind.
What is integrated word vectors?
Okay, so integrated word vectors is nothing but suppose you understand that there is a difference between good or bad, right? So if I say good, you understand the meaning. Why? Because you have learned the meaning of good from the childhood, that good means something positive you are saying, and the bad is something negative you are saying. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah, but computer doesn't understand this text, right? It only understands everything in a form of numbers. Yes. So all the text that you can see in English is converted into some form of numbers so that computer can understand. Okay, for example, if you are saying good, if you are saying good, this you understand. But for computer to understand good, what we do is we have generated some text for good, and this text some number for good, and this number is unique for this good. For example, if the number is 001001, so this computer will understand, okay, this means good. If you have bad, this bad for number is generated in some way. Okay, so suppose for bad it is 110110, for example. So if I tell you good, you will understand good. But how computer will understand? If I give this number to computer, it will understand, okay, I'm talking something positive and the word is good. So that is nothing but integrated word vectors. So word is converted to vector form. So this word is converted to a vector form. So this is what a vector, right? So now it's clear.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, I think it's not clear because of your voice. So it's clear. Okay, it's not clear. I will try. I explain. No worries.
It's clear. I understood what you said, but I don't know how to apply it or.
Yeah, I will teach. I will teach how to apply that. Okay, so when you will learn something called as bag of words and TF-IDF, then you will understand, okay, how this is making sense and stuff like that. Okay. So
Okay.
this word vectors is very important in NLP. Okay, but this is a concept of deep learning now. This is a concept of deep learning. So for this to understand, you should understand deep learning first. Okay, so I will try to explain as best as possible I can. But to do a practical application on these word vectors, you have to be good in deep learning. That is an NLP part of that. Okay, what I will be covering is the standard method that is using machine learning algorithms. But to understand this, you have to go with NLP deep learning. then only the integrated word vectors will be clear to you. Okay. Yeah. Any more doubts anyone has? Okay. So let's try to see list of models that are available in Spacie. So these are the list of models that are available in Spacie. Okay. Basically, they have classified the model into small, medium, and LG. LG stands for large. Okay, based on a use case, you can choose any of this model. So basically, in small is the size very small because they have not done the extra steps. Like for example, the vectors. Now here's the vectors. Okay, this is what I was trying to explain you, that each word is represented with a vector, and that vector is unique. Okay, that's how computer will understand in NLP. In NLP use cases, my computer will understand, okay, about these vectors with the help of this. Okay, so if you are using a small model, the vectors part is omitted. This will be not there. Okay. Now, when you go to MD, the size increases. The size is 44 MB. Why? Because of this thing now. So you can see in MD, 685 keys, 20k unique words. So basically, this model is trained on 20k unique words, and each word has 300 dimensions. Okay, 300 dimension means, suppose I have said for the good, right? In good, I have written 0010. So what is the dimension? The dimension is 5. Now in this, each word has a dimension of 300. Means good will be represented in the form of vector, but inside that, the number of element will be 300. Okay, so this is what we mean by that. And in a large, the size is 742 MB. The only reason is because of this, which I've highlighted. Okay, so it depends on use case to use case which model you want to use. Okay, so this is a difference between a small, MD, and a large. So this is clear to everyone.
So upon on what basis do we have to decide that which one should we go for?
So for the basis, suppose if you want to just do a practice, okay, you want to do a practice where you want to do just a lemmatization and stuff like that. So you can
Yeah.
go with SM. You can go with SM or LG. But your job is to suppose I have given you 3 animals like the dog, cat, and giraffe. So your job is to find that which 2 animals fall in same category. Okay, your job
Okay.
is this. So basically, in there the word vectors come into play.
Okay.
Okay, so you have to go with the large, all the MD model. The problem with MD model is that all the particular library will not be present in this. All the particular words will be not present in this, but
Yeah.
in large, it might be present. So you can go with large there. Getting my point?
Okay.
So when you want to use this particular feature, go with MD or SM. But if you want to use basic feature like what you have seen in TextBlob or NLTK, go with SM model.
And does the size means that it will take the similar time to run as well? I mean, for large it will take more time, or for
Yes,
small
yes,
it will
yes,
take.
yes. For
Okay.
large, it will take more time. For this, it will take less. So large depends on the how much prediction time it will take.
Okay. You will be showing us the practical use of all this, right?
Of all this, in the sense of
A practical use, like working on the data set, how these are
yes,
used.
yes, yes. Of course, of course, of course. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So first, I'm making strong in strong everyone on libraries, so that for that we have to do pre-processing, right? So you
Yes.
will end up better understanding that which library should we use. So that's why I'm covering all the libraries. Yes, of course, the use cases and everything will be covered, but I have to tell now
Okay. Okay.
to get a better
Thank you.
understanding. So yes, anyone has a doubt? Any more doubt they want? Anything they want to ask?
So is it like SMMD will be like efficiency will be more, but accuracy is less, and if I go for LG, I'll get more accuracy and less efficiency. Is it like that?
No, it's not. It's not like that. It's okay. Based on this, you have to download the type of model also. So based on the accuracy, you download the model also. So it's not like that. Okay. What 13 MB? Why 13 MB? Because so as compared to SM and MD, okay, you always calculate the accuracy and uh, the efficiency on the same model. Okay, you try to calculate on the same model. What I mean to say is, now suppose I am doing this token to vector form. In this SM, if I'm trying to do token to vector, it takes 3 seconds. Okay. In SM, it takes 3 seconds. But if I try to use the efficiency model, it takes 2 seconds. So we always try to calculate the efficiency or the accuracy on the same model. We don't try to calculate the different models. Why? Because this model, of course, will give you more time because more features are there in this model, right? Getting my point? What I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
You always try to calculate the efficiency and accuracy on the same model. For example, if this model is accurate but not efficient, so what will happen is the answer for tokenization to vector will be better but will be slower. Okay, suppose this model is now in an inference form. Okay, inference in the sense the efficiency is good and the accuracy is bad. So in tokenization to vector, the speed will be good, but the accuracy will not be as much as the previous model. Now it's clearly known.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, so never try to compare two models with the different sizes. Okay, we always try to calculate the efficiency on the same model that we have trained. So the efficiency and the accuracy should be always calculated on the same model. Don't try to just make this wrong assumption. Okay, then the assumption will be totally wrong, and then nothing will work. Okay. So yes, any more doubts anyone has?
No.
Okay. So this is the important diagram in spacey pre-processing steps. Okay. So this is an important diagram. Okay. Why? Because the spacey uses something called as ML models or the NLP models to give the output that I have covered, right? So what happens is whenever you try to put text inside this, it will automatically do all the steps for you. Okay. What I mean to say is that if you provide a text, that text will be tokenized, it will be tagged, it will be passed, the NER will be calculated, and the other stuffs which are left like NER uh, and tokenization and stuff like that. So everything is it's calculated at once, and then everything is preserved in a talk. Okay, so I will repeat what I'm saying. So whenever you try to put a text, okay, so the text will be converted, will be tokenized. Okay, so the word and the sentence tokenization will be done by default. The tagging will be done by default. The parser will be done. The NER will be done, and the further steps will be done by default. Okay, so it's not like it's not like in text blob or in LTK that we have to provide the function that only that particular step will happen. No, in spacey everything goes to a model. Okay, and that particular model will perform everything at once, and everything is stored in a form of a doc, that is doc is nothing but a document, you can say abbreviation of a document, that is doc. So this is an important diagram. Okay, so this diagram is clear to everyone.
Afsan, what is parsing?
Yeah, parsing, I will
forgot.
tell you. Parsing in the sense that how each word is related to other word. That is known as parsing. So basic dependency parsing that I will tell you in the spatial library.
Okay.
Okay, but the pre-processing is clear to everyone that what happens behind the scene in spacey.
So when you say model, like is it like ML model, like?
Yeah, it's a deep learning model. It's a heavy deep learning model that they have trained on. Not a simple ML model, but a deep learning model that they are trained and they are using behind the scenes. So this diagram is clear to everyone. I'm asking again and again because this is an important diagram. Okay, this can be an interview question also. So that's why I'm asking. So in a chat, just type yes or no if you understood this diagram. Oh, great. Then let's try to move to the library that we have seen. We have talked so much about library. So let's try to move to the practical session. Okay, so let's try to open this spacey and let's try to run this. Okay. Now the first thing what you have to do is, of course, we have to download the spacey library. Okay, so to download the spacey library, so you can follow the documentation which I have given the link, or you can I will do everything step by step. So first thing what you have to do is you have to do pip install Spacie. If I run this, for me, this will be shown. For you, it will be get downloaded. It will download it. Okay. Then the second thing, what you have to do, anyone? This is just a library, right? So what is the next step you have to do?
pc.load something. So
Yeah, basically download the model. Yes, on which this Spacie library will work. So basically the model we should attach, right? So we have to download the model first. So this what you have downloaded Spacie is just a functions. Then we have to download a model. So to download a model, so Python -m Spacie download. Now this is the so can anyone tell me which language for which language I am downloading the model and what is the size of the model?
English and small.
English and small. Okay, so this can be based on MD and LG also based on the use case. So I will just go with small so that everything loads very fast. Okay, so the model will be only 14 MB, so everything will be very fast. So you can now load the model via spacie.load. So if you're getting this message that is download and installation successful and stuff like this, that means that your model has been activated with the Spacie library. So everyone should get this particular thing, download and installation successful.
Afsan, can you show the command?
Yeah, of course. So the command is this. So copy in the chat.
Can you show the first command also?
Yeah, the first command. So first command is to download the Spacie library. So this is the first command.
Okay.
Now you have downloaded the library, you have downloaded the model. What is the next step? We have to load that model on this library, right? So that we can work on. So the next function is loading a model. Loading a model. Okay. Now the first thing what you have to do is, of course, you have to import the library called as Spacie. Then the next thing what you have to do is just take a variable NLP equal to Spacie, the library which you have called dot load, that is LOAD, load, and just pass the model that you have just downloaded. Okay, so name of them. So this is the basic. They will tell you the basic instruction. They will tell you just try to copy this and paste it. That's it. Okay, so the model that you have downloaded, that model you can load. Okay, so you can't load LG or MD now here because you have downloaded SM. So if you try to download, if you try to load MD or LG, it will throw an error. Okay, so let's try to run this. So if everything is working fine, then this shell will not throw any output. If there's some error, suppose let's change this to FR. Okay, so it will throw error like this, that FR can't find this model FR core SM. If you're getting this message, this means that the installation of your model is not done correctly, so you have to do it again. But if you are getting nothing, like it's perfectly fine, the empty thing you're getting, that means that everything is loaded perfectly fine. Okay. So can anyone tell me, can you recap through the PPT and can anyone tell me that if I pass some text through this NLP, what will be the type of that NLP text will be? What I mean to say is, suppose let's take a text. So read a text in Spacie. Okay, read a space. So this is a text and copy and paste for everyone. So where's the chat? Okay, so everyone, the text has been given to you in the chat box. So just copy paste. Okay, so my question is how to read this text in a Spacie library. Okay, so the answer is something like this: ABC equal to NLP. What is NLP? NLP is a variable where you have loaded the model. Okay, NLP is a variable where you have loaded the model. Okay, this NLP is not the variable I am giving. It is what you have given here. NLP, inside this just pass text. Okay, and the output is something like this. So can anyone tell me what will be the type of ABC?
Doc.
Exactly. The type of ABC will be a doc because everything is converted into a doc. So if I do ABC, the type you can see is spacey.tokens.doc.doc. Okay, so this is the type. Oh, and if I try to print, so basically let's convert this ABC into DOC and DOC. So this is the text that is there. So what happens? I will tell you. What is happening behind the scene is when the above text is passed through NLP,
Yes.
okay.
Yes.
So what happens behind the scene is this text is it goes to NLP object. Okay. Then the spacey tokenizes everything in a form of a doc. Okay. Then the doc is processed in several steps such as tagger or parser, you can say, and NER and etc. So many things goes. So this is called as pre-processing of the library. Okay, so what happens? This text is gone through the doc, the NLP object, the doc is generated, this doc is processed behind the scene, and the tagger, parser, NER, everything is generated automatically. And this is called as pre-processing pipeline. Okay, so this is what happens behind the scene when you try to pass this into this NLP object. The doc is generated. So in the doc, tagger, parser, NER, everything is present by default. Okay, so this is what it means. So let's try to comment this, run this. Okay. Now the question is, let's try to do a sentence detection. Detection is nothing but sentence tokenization. Okay, so sentence tokenization. So let's see how to do sentence tokenization in a library called as NLTK. Okay, so what I will do is I will do sentence equal to NLP and pass the text. Okay, if I pass the text, so what will happen? Okay, let's try to do something like this first. So for sent in sentence, print sent. So what will happen is it is doing a word tokenization for me by default. Okay, so if you just pass an LTK text in the here, it will, and if you use a for loop, it will try to give me word tokenization. Okay, this is not sentence tokenization. Okay, to do a sentence tokenization, we have to use something called as dot sentence. If I run this now, this is a sentence. Okay, so if I do print and if I do sentence is, yes, and if I run this, so this is the first sentence, that this is the first sentence, and this is the second sentence. Okay, so you have to just call the attribute, everything is saved inside this sentence. So sentence is nothing but a doc, okay, which contains everything. So if you want to get a sentences, you have to just do sentence dot sense, that's it. This will do a sentence tokenization for me. So this particular sentence tokenization is clear to everyone. Okay, how to undo the shell? Anyone has idea how to undo the shell? Okay, no worries. Sentence tokenization. So this is sentence tokenization is clear to everyone. Try to give me the response, guys. So again, I will do the coding so that so sentence equal to NLP. You have to pass the text. Okay, once the text is passed, what you have to do, you have to just use a for loop for sent in sentences. Sentence dot se nts and just run this print send. Okay, this will give a sentence tokenization. So can anyone tell me how to do word tokenization?
Just for sentence word
Exactly. Okay, so
tokenization.
just remove this dot send. That's it. Okay, so it will automatically do a word tokenization for me. So if I do this and if I run the same thing, but the only thing, just remove this, and everything will be in a form of a sentence tokenization. Oh, sorry, word tokenization. Okay. Now we have done a tokenization. What is the next step we have to do? So basically, we are following the pipeline that is necessary for the use case. So this is done. The next step.
EOS on the speech.
Sorry.
Parts of speech.
Uh,
Tagging.
okay. First let's try to clean the text, right? So what is the next step after doing this?
Removing punctuation.
Yeah, removing punctuations and stop words. Okay. So first try to let's remove stop words now. Stop words. So stop word is what? It is the most common word that is used in a language. For example, at, am, is, the, verb, and etc. etc. So first let's check the stop words for English language. Let's try to see the stop words for English language. That how to see the stop words. So basically, what we have to do is we have to do stop words. Okay. Equal to spacey dot lang dot English, because we want to see the English language, dot what you want to see, you want to see stop words, so we are something called stop words dot, let's stop in capital. Okay, and if I run this and if I print the stop words, these are the stop words that are present in English language. Okay, so D, LL, M, RE, S, VE, about, across, afterwards, and stuff like this. So these are the stop words that are present in English language. Okay, so now the question is how to remove the stop words. How to remove the stop words. Okay, so the different, they can be a number of ways. Okay, you can convert this into list and then you can check if the word is present in a stop word or not and stuff like that. Okay, but Spacey gives you the very simple method to find whether the word is a stop word or not. Okay, so we have function called stop. Okay, so for token in, so let's try to take sentence. For token in sentence, if token is stop. Okay, so we have function called as is stop. So it will tell that a particular token is a stop word or not. Simple. Okay, so if I print token here, so all the stop words will be printed. Okay, so this is, being, by, who, is, as, and stuff like this. So basically, is stop is a function to check whether this particular token is a stop word or not. So Spacey is a very simple library to work with stop words. Okay, so you don't have to convert this into list and then you have to write the log. You have to write the list comprehension and stuff like that. No, the simple answer is just take that particular word and use a function called stop. So this will tell you whether the function is a stop word or not. If the function is a stop word, then it will print. If it's not a stop word, it will not print. Okay, so if I want to print the non-stop word, so what if you do, if not it stop, Then if I run this, I will get all the words without a stop words. Okay, I will get everything. So this thing is clear to everyone. This particular function is clear to everyone. That is a stop is clear to everyone.
Yes.
Okay, great. Now the next question is how to remove the punctuation. Because in this text, still you can see some of the unclean text, the data, that is the comma, the dash, the dot, this and everything. So the simple answer is that just copy this, paste here, and just like we have something called is stop, we have something called as is punctuation also. So is punct, and if you run this, so all the punctuation marks has been removed now. In this data, all the punctuation marks has been removed. So this is what you mean by removing of punctuation. So if I run this punctuation, and if I run this, so how to remove the punctuation mark? This is how you remove the punctuation mark. Then the next step is what? After doing a punctuation stuff like that, then let's see how to do a lemmatization in this. Okay, so how to do a lemmatization in this. So let's move to the next topic, and that is lemmatization. To do a lemmatization, the only thing we have to do is, so everything is same, okay? Everything you have to use the same function. Down also. The only thing is remove this. Okay, remove this. And we have an attribute called as dot lemma. Lemma and underscore. So basically what it does is it will try to print the token for everything. So token, then I will put a comma, then this.
Afzan,
Yes.
like Obama's, it's hyphen is taken as separate word. How to handle that in the top one?
In the top one, okay. So which one?
Yeah, here in the output.
Okay.
Obama's hyphen is taken as a separate word.
So you how to, so use regex to handle this. Simple. So regex to handle this. Okay. So punctuation is what? Punctuation is dash, comma, something like that, right? But here it is dash s, so that's why I'm trying to remove this. But what you can do is first try to do a stop word, because in a stop word, see the slash s is removed. Then try to do the punctuation. So automatically this will be resolved.
Okay.
Yeah, if you see the punctuation, the dash s is not there. Can you see?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, so first try to go to, why? Because it is already taken care here. See, slash s is already taken care here in the stop words.
Okay.
So in the, if you first do the stop words and after that just do the punctuation, then everything will be perfectly fine.
Okay.
Then we have for token in sentence. So we have something called as token dot lemma underscore, and if I try to run this, so basically this will try to give me the lemmatized version of that. So the Republican president is converted to B, being is converted to B, challenge is converted to challenge, by is converted to by, Democratic Party nominee, and stuff like this. Okay, this is what you mean by lemmatization. Now, if you notice this, the lemmatization is done for the unnecessary word also. So basically what you have to do is you have to follow the steps step by step. So first clean the data and then try to give the answer. So basically in everything, just combine these things. Okay, so first tokenize this. Then after tokenization, just use this punctuation. And after that, just do lemmatization. Then you will get a proper output of this. You will get a lemmatization of the proper data. Okay, so this is a question to everyone. Okay, so okay, let me see if anything is still okay. So this is a question to everyone. I want to answer from everyone, so just type the answer and give in the chat box. Okay, so clean the data, and give me output as a string where the words are lemmatized.
On which data do you want us to work?
Yeah, the same data, the Barack Obama one, the data that I have
Okay.
given in the chat box. The same data. What you have to do is, I don't want output like this. Okay, I want output in a proper string manner where everything is, the stop word is removed, the punctuation is removed, and everything is converted into a lemmatized form. And I want a proper string. Okay, I don't want something like this. What I've shown you just now. I want in a proper data form.
Okay.
Yeah. So okay, so Lena's given me this answer. So let's try to copy that and paste here. Let's see what she has done is correct or not. So okay, just take this. Okay, and stop words. Okay, and lemma. Okay, she's taking this. Then ABC. If not, and dot append. And I think this is here. Okay, so I think everything is fine. So let's try to run this. If I run this, this is what I'm getting. So basically what she is doing is she is just loading the data. So this ABC is nothing but a doc now. So what it's doing is she is just trying to look through a doc that is for A and ABC, and she is just comparing that whether this A is a stop word. If it's not a stop word, uh, go inside this if loop and just check that A is whether a punctuation or not. Okay, if it's not a punctuation, then try to append this particular thing into a dictionary, a list that she has created. And the only thing what she has done is she has just used a join function to join all the words. Okay, so I hope this is clear to everyone that how to do this.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a small question to everyone. So this is how you do in the use cases also. So I will teach you how to do with this with the help of data frame in the future classes. Okay, then we have something called as POS tagging. POS tagging is nothing but part of speech tagging. Okay, so again, everything is there calculated for you. Just you have to just call the for loop and the particular attribute. That's it. Okay, so the token. Then what I will do is I will type token dot. We have something called as tag. Then we have something called as token dot POS, and we have something called as spacey dot explain. Okay, spacey dot explain, and inside this you can pass this tag here. Okay, and if you run this, you will get this output. So token, and okay, this is the output you are getting. Okay, so what is output? Let me explain you. The first output is a token. So obviously there's a space here in the first line. Token tag, it is now trying, it can identify that this particular thing is nothing but a space. Okay, this is nothing but a space. Okay, this token tag and token pose, what it tries to do is it tries to give you, so pose is nothing but a universal part of speech, and tag is that in English language a one noun can be split into many nouns, right? In proper noun, then improper noun and stuff like this. So this tag position will give you that whether the particular thing is noun or pronoun. This will bisect more into that. Okay, and spacey dot explain will give you the meaning of this tag. For example, this space, the meaning is none. for DET, that is the delimiter. So you will understand. So you don't have to refer any document for that. Okay, here only you can see the meaning of what that particular thing means. So president is nothing but NN, that is nothing but a noun, and that is a singular or a mass noun. VBZ, okay, it is auxiliary verb, or it calls auxiliary verb, third person singular present, and so on. Okay, so token is the token or each word. Token dot tag will give the tag that what each word means. Token dot pose will give you the universal meaning of that, that whether it's a noun, pronoun, stuff like that. And spacey dot explain will explain that what that particular tag means. Is clear to everyone? This particular function is clear to everyone? Code, sorry.
Yeah.
So if you try to confirm, also see VBZ and VBN are both verbs, okay, but tag will categorize into more deeper. But what is the main thing? It's a verb. So it's a verb. Okay, so this is what we mean by tag and pause. Okay, so tag will try to bisect more that thing into more subdivisions. So in subdivisions, in noun we have 5 subdivisions. If you try to categorize into that subdivision also. So this is the difference between a tag underscore and a pause underscore. Okay. Now what Spacey does is, suppose you want to show this to your client. So they have a library called as Displacy where everything can be visualized in a very good manner. Okay. What I mean to say is visualization is very easy in Spacey. So visualization. So basically what you have to do is you have to call from Spacey import Displacy, and you have to just do displace. Okay, so Displacy dot render, and inside this you have to pass the doc. So basically doc for me is what? It's sentence. So doc is sentence here. Just pass the doc. Then you have to do a style, that which style you want. Now this is called as dependency parsing. Okay, so let me print, then you will understand. This is Jupyter notebook I'm using. So Jupyter equal to true, and the options what we have is the distance. Okay, so options equal to distance. You have a key called as distance, and in this I will pass 90. If I run this, okay, so style it is. If I run this, this is what you get. This is called as dependency parsing. Okay, so how each word is related to other word, it's mentioned clearly here. Okay, so challenge is nothing but an subject, pass for president. The is nothing but it's a delimiter for president. Okay, so all the things that how each word is related to other word is given in dependency parsing. This is what you mean by dependency parsing. Okay, dependency parsing in short is nothing but it will try to give the relation between the words. And down it is written that which part of part of speech that is adjective, noun, aux, or what it is. So this is clear to everyone that what is this display is doing. So if you want to see the command, so this is the code for that. So render, you have to pass the doc, then you have to pass in the style that what you want. Jupyter equal to true because you're using Jupyter notebook, and option is nothing but so the distance. Okay, so what size you want. So if I do 200, the size will increase. Okay, so size will increase. So basically distance is nothing but a size. To get a more clear thing, you can increase the size of this. Yes, so anyone has a doubt in this?
Jupyter equal to true.
Yes.
Will that be required? Like apart from Jupyter, anything else we can use or any other notebook? In that case, what will happen?
See, if you remove Jupyter, okay, it will still give the answer. Just to be on a safe side, I'm saying this. But in other suppose you are using IDE, okay, suppose you're using IDE, then a new window will pop up and the new window will contain this.
Okay, got it.
Okay. So one more thing, if suppose someone is interested in doing the IDE part, okay, so everything I have done in a GitHub. So if you go to my GitHub and search for text preprocessing, So text preprocessing. So all the libraries is been converted into ID form also. Okay, so if you're interested, you can go here. So suppose if you're doing text.block, so everything is converted into a proper ID form. So from this also you can see that how everything works in ID also. Okay, so this is if you want to, if you're interested in doing ID part. Okay.
IDE.
Yeah, so ID stands for, anyone know the term IDE?
Yeah, that is development environment.
Integrated
development environment.
Integrated development environment, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So for that, which tool you are using? Like here we are
Yeah,
using.
okay. I am using so tool is nothing. So this is for all the IDs. Okay, this will work in PyCharm. This will work in VS Code. This will work in whatever ID you are using.
Oh,
But
okay.
what I prefer is VS Code.
Okay.
Okay, so but this code will work in all the IDs. Just clone this repo. This code will work in all the IDs except Jupyter. Yes. Go ahead.
Okay. Why we are using Jupyter? Because for any other here in this classroom,
Mhm.
why we are going with Jupyter?
Yeah, because everyone is for to teach VS Code first I have to teach VS Code, right? So that's the thing. So that's why I'm going with Jupyter, because everyone is familiar with Jupyter. That's it. That's a
Okay.
simple answer that I can give. If everyone is okay with Spacey VS Code, then I'm always happy to do that, because I want student to go with some IDs other than Jupyter, because in the production level we always work with the IDs, not with Jupyter.
Correct.
Yeah, so based on the preference, because many people don't know VS Code, so first I have to teach VS Code, then I have to move forward. So the best option I have is directly go with Jupyter.
So if you are going using any IDE, then we have to have the files with the .py file, .py, right?
Exactly.
And
.py.
here and the code and everything is same, or since you are using Jupyter, some of the out of the box code is
No.
already.
No. The coding is never changed. Okay, in the Jupyter and the ID, the coding will always be same. The only difference is in the ID, the output will be in different form. In this, it will be in different form. And to run a file, it is a different methods. So
Okay.
you can do download as py file also. So everything will be converted to py automatically. So you can run this py file into your VS Code also. That can also you can do.
Correct.
Yeah. So yes. So the answer for that, what I have chosen Jupyter, because everyone is familiar with Jupyter. That's it. Okay. So I want student to learn in some ideas, so that because you will have a real time experience on how to work with the production level thing. So yes.
Yeah. Otherwise, because any company we go, we may everywhere this ID has to, everybody will be using this ID.
Yes, exactly. So that's why for the guys who join my deployment class, I always teach them the ID, then I move forward, because in a production level, the ID is very important. Everything in Jupyter is just for beginners. Okay. When you want a job, you want to have a good hands-on on coding, then always go with the ID. Okay, it will teach you much more, and you will understand that very good. Okay, so the simple answer is yes. So everyone is familiar with IDs, Jupyter. So I'm going with Jupyter. Okay, but if you know how to use ID, just clone this particular repo and try to process the same thing with the help of ID also, or you can create your own things. The function, everything what I have teach you here is perfectly same in ID also. There's nothing changed in the coding style. Okay.
Only in case of library, we have to get those libraries, I guess, in case of IDs.
Library in the sense, no, the Spacey library will be there, right?
Oh,
Okay. Yeah, in the VS Code, you have to first activate the environment, and a lot of steps you have to do. Yes, that you have to take care of.
Correct. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. So the next thing is something called as NER. NER stands for Name Entity Recognition. Okay, so how to do that? Let's see. So NER. So basically everything is same. Use a for loop, just the attribute changes. That's it. So for token in sentence, just remove this and just type entity dot labels. Okay, so the only thing here it will change is you have to do sentence dot ents. Okay, so now this token is nothing but entity now. So this you can extract in two parts. The first part is we can do is entity dot text. This will contain the normal text, that is usual text, and this will contain this entity dot label. So it will try to give the label for you. So entity dot label underscore, and if I have to print this, so Republican is nothing but NORP, Democratic Party is nothing but ORG, Joe Biden is nothing but a person, Barack is GPE, US is GPE, the 1970 is the date, election day is the date. So this is what NER is. So the meaning is, I know, I think everyone is aware of the meaning. The only thing is how to use the function. So basically sentence dot ENTS. So everything will be divided into a label. Just call this ENTS. So ENTS in entity dot text will give you the normal text, and entity dot label give you the corresponding name entity recognition for you. Okay.
Okay.
So here also we can use the spacey dot explain to see what the labels are.
Okay. Spacey dot explain, and inside just put this.
Okay, thank you.
So basically NORP is nothing but nationalities or religious or political group. ORG is companies, person is people, including fictional. GP is country, city, state, and stuff like this. So you can do. Now the next question is the good part about this species is we can visualize this perfectly. Okay, so what I mean to say is let's visualize this with the help of a spacey library. So the only thing what you do is the same command. You have to just copy the same command. The only thing in place of style, you have to just do ENT. That's it. In place of style, you have to just do ENT, and I will just remove this options part. Otherwise, it's very large. And if I run this, this is what you get in a very visualization, in a very this way, visualized way. So the Republican is highlighted with some color, and it is NORP. Then president will be challenged by the Democratic Party is ORG. So this is what Spacey does. This is what Spacey is known for. So till here, what we have covered is clear to everyone.
Yes, okay.
Yes.
Okay. Now let's try to see one more topic called as word vectors and similarity. Word vectors and similarity. Now these word vectors and similarity is the main concept of chatbot. Okay, this is the main concept of chatbot. Now word vectors and similarity. So if I give you a definition, so can anyone tell me first which model to download to work with word vectors and similarity? I've shown you in the documentation also.
Not the SM, the other two.
Yeah. So other two one that is MD and LG.
Large.
Yeah. So there I have shown you that there is an extra parameter called as vectors, where you can see that based on that the size of the model is increased. Okay. So basic word vector is what? Word vector is the numerical representation of words which help to understand the semantic meaning of the words. Okay, so what I mean to say is, suppose you have a word called as king. Suppose, and can anyone tell me what is the dimension of each word? You have seen that also. What is the dimension of each word?
360.
300. Okay, so dimension 300 means this king is represented as this. So 0.1. This is example I'm saying. Okay, the vectors can be different. So 0.1, 0.4, 0.6, and this is done for 300 times. Okay, so this is the value for king. This is the value for king. Okay, now why this? Why this numerical representation we have? The simple answer is, for us, our brain is capable of thinking this, that king is nothing but a king. Okay, a king means what I can say. What is the definition of king? Can anyone tell me? A high authority person in a kingdom, you can say, is nothing but a king. This we can understand. Okay, but how computer will understand? The question is that computer only understands everything in form of 0 and 1s, or you can say in a form of numbers. So our main task is to convert this king in such a way that whenever I provide this same number at 0.1, 0.4, 0.5, my computer will understand that this is the value for king. This is what you mean by word vectors. It's clear? So the first definition is clear to everyone?
Could you please repeat once again?
Okay. So what people have done is, so I will go to the basics again. So can you tell me if I say that good? Okay, so what do you understand by good? I'm asking you, so can you just answer me?
Yeah, good means, in the context wherever we are discussing maybe something related
Yeah,
to that.
basically good, you already know that good is something that you're saying positive to someone else. Okay, the positive thing you understand because of good. If I say bad, what comes into mind? That something negative is happening, so bad, right?
Correct.
How you understand this? Because your brain is you have learned in kindergarten, stuff like that. That's a good and bad means this stuff like that, right? Now your brain is trained like that. That's why you're thinking, right?
Correct.
Till you understood?
Yeah.
Yeah, but the problem with computer is it only understands in a form of 0 and 1. Okay, what if I convert this king into some number, so that my computer will understand that whenever I will say, so if I say king, you understand, but if computer, if I say 0010, so my computer will understand that 0010 is nothing but it's a value for king. So this is what you mean by word vectors. Converting a word into a vector form is called as word vector. And this vector is not a random thing. Okay, I am again saying this word vector is, it's many people have worked on this. They have trained a very huge model. Okay, and then they have come with this. Okay, so this is not randomly they have given, a huge model is trained on this. So the value which you can see here is not the random value. It's, so basically what they do is they try to provide a number of words that are present in English, and the job of the model is to give the word vector of that. Okay, and the word vector is given in such a way that the first thing is the king is converted to this number. Okay, now tell me one more thing. If I say king and if I say queen, the context is same, right?
Yeah.
The thing is that the male and the female version, but who is the king and who is the queen? He's some high authority of the kingdom, right? Yes or no, everyone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So word vector exactly does the same thing. Okay, so what it will do is, for queen, it will try to generate a vector close to this king. So if I do, this will be 0, 0, 1, 1. Okay, so this vector and this vector will be close enough because the context of king and queen is same, right? So the word vector which a model will be trained in such a way that the words which are similar, the vectorization of that word will be close to each other. So this topic is clear to everyone, what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. So there is there a the vector of any two words can be same.
No, vector of two words are never same. For each
Never
word,
same.
for each word, the vector is unique.
Okay. So it is something like what we learned in the initial days, like binary conversion, similar kind of thing, right? Binary
Exactly.
conversion.
So
We have a formula here. Maybe you are doing with some model.
yeah, so this you have learned earlier also. So for male and female, what you do? You do get dummies. So the for the female, the code is 01, and for the male, the code is 10, right?
Yeah.
In machine learning, you have done this. Okay, so this is a concept that they are taking forward. So your model will understand whenever there is 01 is coming, that means that is a male. Whenever there is 10 is coming, that means that is a female. Yes. This is what the concept of get dummies is, right? In the ML, if you try to recap
Yeah.
everything in ML. So this is what exactly this is. But the problem is this male and female, this two vector is not enough to represent the English words, right? All the English words. Yes or no? So male female can be converted into 0110, but if there is dog, for example, okay, for dog also you convert to 11. For cat also you can convert to 00. But then what now? This representation is over, right? And still there are thousand and thousand words which are remaining. Basically, the dimension is changed to 2 to 300. Now it's clear. So the concept of word vector is clear to everyone.
So is there a formula there when they are creating this model? Do they use some formula, or it is a kind of a dictionary?
No formula. So basically, what they do is, so you have you done deep learning class of mine?
No. Actually, we have done only AIML, then this NLP class, right?
Okay. So people who have done my deep learning, they will understand just for example, and people, other people. So basically, you have to create a model, and you have to pass all the data inside that model, and this model will train automatically everything. Okay, so there is no formula. There is a formula, but the formula is the same what you have learned in machine learning, y equal to mx plus c. That's the formula expands. That's the only thing is you have to provide the data. So ML thing, just provide the data, give to this to model, and you will get the output. But the only difference is this model is not the simple one what you have learned. It's a very complex one. This is the same thing. Okay, so for this you should have knowledge for deep learning, this much deep learning. So yeah. Okay. I hope I cleared it out.
Yes, very much.
Okay. So this is what you mean by word vectors. Okay. So word vector is the numerical representation of the word which helps you understand the semantic meaning of the word. Okay. So the dimension is 300. Okay. Let's try to solve some problem with this. So you understand much better. Okay. So first you have to download the model, of course. So to download the model, what you have to do is you have to download the model. So everyone just download the model. So the model, what I will do is I will just change this to empty. So on the top, there is a model that we have pasted, right? Okay, this one. Copy. Then paste. And in place of SM, just put empty and just run this. So for me, it's already downloaded. For you, it will get downloaded. So you have to do this. Then of course, what you have to do is you have to load the model. So NLP equal to spacey dot load model. Okay. Now we have a function called as has vector. Okay. So this what this does is, so basically just so I'm taking the same text. Sorry. So let's take as doc equal to NLP, and inside this I'm passing the same text that I've taken. Okay. Then again the same thing you have to do for token in doc print token, and then we have something called as token dot has vector. So token, we have attribute called as has vector. So this will tell that the particular word has a vector or not. This means that the particular word is trained on that particular vector or is trained or not. For example, if I try to give something like this. So for the space, there is no vector given, so space is false. The vector is given, so it's true. Republican, the vector is given true. Vector in the sense this has a 3000k representation of a vector. This the has a representation. What I have shown you here for king and queen. Same for the, it also has a vector and the length of the vector is 3000, 300k. 300, sorry, not k, 300. So for Republican, it's also 300. Yes, it's there. So everything you can see. So for everything, the vector representation is there. Okay. Now let's try to put some rubbish word. Okay. Here. Let's try to see that if it is there or not. So this, and this. Okay. So false, true. Okay. This means that this has a vector representation, but this is some gibberish word and it doesn't have a vector representation. Okay, so this is what has vector gives. So has vector will basically tell you that that particular word has a vector representation or not. Simple. So if I say good boy, so this is all gibberish I have typed. So for this we don't have a vector. But for good and boy we have a vector. So this particular function is clear to everyone. That has vector function is clear to everyone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Now let's try to see one more thing. We have something called as vector norm. So basically vector normalization. So if I try to run this, this is the vector normalization. This means that suppose you have a value called as 0.1, 0.2 and 0.3. So this is normalized something like this. So this is equal to, in the bracket, 0.1 plus 0.2 plus 0.3 raised to the power square. This is the normalization of this vector. So this is a value that you get. Okay, so you have a vector. The normalized form is that just add all the element and raised to the power 2 will give the normalized vector. Okay, so this is what
I did not, Afsan, I did not get the normalization part.
Yeah, normalization part is nothing but suppose for king, you have something called as 0, 1, 1, 0, 1. This you understood?
Yeah.
Okay. The simple vector normalization, what it will do is it will add all the elements inside this. So basically it will do 0 plus 1 plus 1 plus 0 plus 1 and raised to the power 2. What is the answer I'm getting?
Okay, 6.
6. So the vector normalization form of king is number 6.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is, so basically the answer, the vector will be in point of decimals. That's why you're getting decimal here. Okay. So yeah. So this is what you mean by vector norm. Okay. Let's try to see one thing more. Cat, dog, human, and table. So this is a vector normalization for cat, dog, human, and table.
So, Afsan, how does this vector normalization is helping my model, or and what benefits are there for this one?
Okay, for what benefits are there? Suppose you want to, okay, let's try to calculate. Let's try to see the use case then. Then you'll understand much better. Okay. So we have something called as similarity between two vectors. Okay, let's try to do the use case with the help of this. Now
Yeah.
suppose I have a word called as text. So EXE, excellent. And then I have text 1 and I do as good. Okay. Now let's try to pass this in the both the docs. So I will give doc 1 for NLP and I will put text there. I will do doc 2 and I will put text 1 there. Till here it's clear?
Yes.
Okay. Then there is a function called as similarity. So basically, if I want to see that how these two words are similar to each other. Okay, so we have something called as similarity. So it gives in the form of a score. So doc dot similarity. And you have to pass the other doc. So basically here you have to pass doc 1 and you have to pass that how doc 1 is similar to doc 2. Okay, and if I run this and just print the score, you're getting score of 0.77.
Okay. Okay. I got the point.
So
Yeah.
this means that higher the value, that means the two token is similar to each other. In some way similar to each other. Okay, so excellent is also a positive, good is also positive, so the token is 0.77. So higher the value, this means the similarity value is close to each other. If I go bad here, see the accuracy now, see the similarity between these two.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so if I give
doing the similarity, they are taking the vector norm.
yes, they are taking the vector, then they are doing the similarity. So there's something called as cosine similarity, which I will cover in the future classes. Based on that, you're trying to calculate the similarity between the two vectors.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Usman.
Yeah. So basically, let me try to solve one more question so that you will understand much better. Okay. So, and this is how chatbot understands. Okay. So you're saying that I'm not feeling good. So basically, everything is converted into a vector form, and the meaning of the sentence is understood, and by that the chatbot gives the answer. So by this, it will try to understand what you're trying to say. So basically, everything will be converted to a vector form. Then my model will understand. Then it will give the output. So this is the main concept of chatbot. So basically, all NLP use cases that you can see is heavily dependent on word to vector. So if you want to learn word to vector, then it's a plus point for NLP tasks. Okay, so it's a very important concept. Now let's do one thing. Let's try to take one more text. That is, I will take the text as lion, bear, cow, apple, mango, and Spanish. Okay, so what you can do is so let's try to solve this problem. So what you have to do is actually we will go each token wise. So for token in tokens. Okay, so tokens in, so sorry, this is wrong. So I will give this token in tokens. And what I'm doing is I'm going to another for loop that is for token in tokens again. Okay, so basically I will give this as 1, I will give this as 2. Okay, and I will do something called as print. Okay, so I will do token, I will print token 1, then I will do token 2, and then in this I will do token 1 dot similarity. Okay, so token 1 dot, this is a function similarity, and then token 2. So tokens is not defined. So okay, sorry, my bad. Okay, so this will go to tokens equal to NLP and text. So this is what it helps us to do. So lion is close enough. Basically, it's same. So the similarity is 1. Lion, bear, both are animals. So 0.63. Lion and cow are animals, but there's a difference between carnivorous and herbivorous. So 0.47. A lion and apple are totally different. So 0.33. Lion and mango again different. So 0.21. And apple and Spanish. Okay, so they are the fruits, but the problem with apple is a fruit and Spanish is a vegetable, so 0.43. Apple and mango, both are fruits, so the similarity between the two is 0.61. Okay, so now it's clear to everyone that why word vector is important and what is the use case of word vector.
Yes, Roshan.
Okay, so this is what I mean by word vector. So yes, everyone, just